everyone, welcome back to my channel. So if I know a couple of you are wondering, where is she? Yes, I'm not in my house, in my room, in my kitchen, or anywhere you're familiar with. I am outside the confines of my house because I needed to take that break. I needed to take that walk. I needed to have that breeze on my skin. So I'm actually out here in the beach, Great Yarmouth Beach. I needed just to come out here and sit down. But don't worry, I'm taking every necessary precautions to be safe. So I have with me my hand sanitizer. Yes, and I also have with me my nose mask. So I am not using my nose mask currently because I needed to speak to you and I needed you to hear me loud and clear. So I'm sat here in the beach and there are a couple of people, probably I should just turn around my camera around so you see what the beach looks like. So there are a couple of people just sprinkled around, you know, trying to make some meaning in their lives. You know, some people walking the dogs out there, some people just taking a walk, some people running. And a couple of people on my far left just sat down at some cafe, having a meal, tea, and just trying to enjoy a breezy, wet day. It's not like the weather is so wonderful. It's not sunny, but it's not terrible. It's just a good enough weather to be outdoors and just, you know, enjoy the breeze. But I'm hoping everyone is sensitive enough to take the necessary precautions to be safe and to keep others safe. So yeah, today I will be speaking on the topic social connections and mental illness. I'm sure you can understand the importance of that topic, especially in this post-COVID era. I recently came across a report. It's more like a projection, a forecast of the likely spike in mental illness cases in the UK. So of course it is expected that in a period like we are in right now, the cases of mental illness is expected to increase, and that was the projection. But what caught my attention was the projection, especially with regards to the figures of cases that is being expected, and the figures was to the tune of 500,000 if it's being compared to the 2008 recession experienced in the UK, and how that impacted mental health issues. I know oftentimes when you talk about mental health, it's always like a touch word. There's always this stigma to it, and you know, people just have reservations about talking about it. You know, it's like a watchword. I know in some parts of in some countries, mental health is rarely, you know, considered or spoken about. When someone says, oh, they are having mental health issues, they look at you like a misfit, or there's just the stigma that comes with mental health issues, and people fail to realize that it's so many people's lived experiences, not because it's a biological condition, but oftentimes it's a condition that is a function of the environment you're living in, a function of relationships that you are in, a function of you know, situations that surround you. It could be a function of the kind of work you're doing. So
mental health issues, while it is oftentimes a genetic condition that is being transferred along, you know, the family lineage from father to children, oftentimes other environmental or other factors that impact mental health are not usually considered when people mention they have mental health conditions. So people really need to educate themselves about this.
Stress, you know, there are different types of mental health conditions, and it's something that we need to educate ourselves about so that we can do better with how we treat people with these conditions, and what provisions we make available for them. But one thing I wanted to draw out in this conversation is the importance of social connection and how that impacts mental health. One thing to note is take a typical example where you're walking in a workplace, so a workplace scenario, and you're new in that place, and let's say you've been working there for like 3 months, and in that space of 3 months you've made no friends, you've made no social connection or network with anyone. If someone was to ask you, oh, how's your new place of work, you have reservations about it. You're like, I'm not really sure, it's just there. But if you have formed relationships and start making friends, and you have friends there, if someone was to ask you,
Hi guys. Sorry, my stint at the beach was short-lived, especially as the rain just came out from nowhere, so I had to run for cover. So I'm back home, changed my clothes, trying to get warm with my cup of tea, and continue with the conversation. So I was trying to draw the connection between social connections and mental health. So you're walking in a place and you haven't formed any relationships, you don't have any friends. It would be difficult for you to blend in. It would be the dynamics of that working environment is going to be really weird, and it will play on your mental health, because you would be unhappy in the place of work, you would be depressed, and it would stress you out, hence leading to a mental health problem. But where you have formed relationships with people within the working environment, you're happy and you're excited to be at work because you're going to see your friends, and so it makes you a lot healthier. And I'm not coming to you, I'm not bringing some strange connections to you. But where's my hearing? I've lost my... Anyways, so there are research that draws that link between social connections and mental health, and there is evidence to show that social connections, strong social connections, influences positively people's mental health. So what I'm coming to you with is that we shouldn't, especially in this time of COVID-19, please do not neglect your social connections. Reach out to people, call people, call your friends, call people you haven't heard from in a long time. Some people might not be open to sharing their issues. Make a call. You might not necessarily be able to visit people, but do not neglect to reach out to people and make people feel, feel loved, and make people feel, thought of, and make people feel special, especially in this period. The likelihood of people being in their own space, the likelihood of depression is high, because you're in your own space, in your own little corner, doing your thing, on your own. And it's worse if you're, living alone. It's worse if you're living in an environment that you don't have a community of people to reach out to, a community of, family members to keep in touch with. It's worse. So please try as much as possible to reach out to people. Keep your social connection strong, Reach out to people as much as possible to help people throughout this space. We're talking about keeping ourselves safe and our families safe. In the same vein, reach out to people and help people navigate this whole, situation, and still maintain their mental health and well-being, because it would do people the world of good. So many things have changed post-COVID. Remote working now, social, outings are restricted. If you're going out with people, you're expected to be very cautious. Social distancing. A lot has changed. So we are not privileged to have that close contact with people, as much as we would love to. But we should, because of that, we shouldn't, neglect to, keep, communicating with people, to keep reaching out to people, to keep, the communication line open. So please, as much as possible, try to reach out to friends, to your colleagues, to family members. Give them a call, send a text message, send an email. It will go a long way in making people feel thought of, special, loved, and the rest. Do not go about this on your own, because the likelihood of a mental health breakdown, it's very high, especially with the way things are now, how things have changed. Some people, mental health issues are triggered from, change, difficulty in adapting to change. That could be a challenge, that could be a problem. Earlier I said that when we talk about mental health, we should realize that it's not often, genetical or biological issue. It could be triggered from other external factors. So let's be agents of change.